of an insurance CEO is pushing corporations to reevaluate security measures for their leaders. That includes hiring bodyguards, boosting social media monitoring, and removing executives' photos from public platforms. Let's bring in Jeremy Baumann, the CEO of Corporate Security Advisors, and it's Baumann. I'm sorry, Jeremy, I mispronounced your name. So what has this killing done to your clients and perhaps future clients? Are a lot of people rattled?
I think companies right now are all reevaluating their executive security programs. They're looking at their risk and threat monitoring aspects, and they're thinking about security for off-site events, especially public ones, in light of the killing itself.
I want to put up a graphic of what some companies are spending on executive security. Meta, the Facebook parent company, spends $24 million a year on security, primarily for the founder, Mark Zuckerberg, excuse me. Then you've got Alphabet, they're the parent company of Google, at $6.7 million, Blackstone at $4.5 million, the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas at $3 million, and Oracle at $3 million. Those kinds of numbers are way out of the reach of most companies, aren't they?
Well, they certainly are very high dollar amounts, but when you look at the total cost of security for most organizations, they don't need to be spending at those levels. Having a risk assessment done for senior executives can be done for a fraction of that cost. Having monitoring in place so that you can identify threats, risks, unwanted attention is relatively inexpensive in the grand scheme of things. And most companies out there need to have those programs in place at all times so that they can determine when to scale up security measures that might be more robust for these executives. Some of the numbers that you see there are reflective of around-the-clock security measures for high-risk executives. And while that might be the case for a Meta or an Alphabet, most of the companies out there simply need to be monitoring for risks and threats and unwanted attention, and having those basic programs in place. They also need to be prepared to be able to respond and scale quickly. I mean, look, you can't stand up a program like this overnight. So the most important part is to be able to have these response mechanisms in place ahead of time so that you can identify when the risk landscape is changing.
Paul Morrow is a former New York police detective. He says it only works if you've got the cooperation of the protectee. Listen.
You know, the truth of the matter is, and this goes for even high-profile political figures, they hate having the security around. They feel like everything they do is being shadowed. They don't like somebody constantly being at their elbow, etc. I've been in that circumstance where the principal, the person that you're trying to guard, it wasn't my primary remit, but every cop at some point does some of this, and they just get irritated, and he just might have been that kind of guy that didn't want somebody at his elbow at all times.
So you go into a company and you say to the CEO or whomever, look, we're gonna guard you, but it's gonna come with some problems or unpleasantries.
Some inconveniences. When you've got that type of security, it certainly is not something that most executives want or look forward to. And I would say that a lot of these executives, they don't feel like it's warranted. They might come from, more humble beginnings. They don't realize the risk that the position has brought to them personally outside the walls of the campus that they work at. So from that standpoint, it really does become more about protecting not just the individual executive, but protecting the company. If you think about this as a business continuity issue, think about the impact that this is going to have to United Health's reputation at a long-term basis. Think about how unsettling it is, not just to the family, and our deepest condolences to them, but also to all of the coworkers who are now having to deal with this and the impact that that's having to them on a daily basis. It's just simply the best approach to have an evaluation done ahead of time, to understand from a professional what the right steps are for your organization. That's what our organization spends our time doing. We're a bunch of former FBI, CIA, corporate security professionals who are looking at the lens of business.
Yeah.
So.
And I imagine your phone is ringing. Jeremy Baumann.
It is indeed.
Thank you.